If any man among you seems to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise, Saint Paul said. I am Valery Fadeev, and this is my series Transforming Humanism on overcoming the global political and cultural crisis. So what is rationality? What is rational actions? Those are not idle discourses or intellectual speculations, and it is important to understand as we seek a way out of the crisis that befell the Western civilization and the whole world along with it, because the Western civilization has controlled virtually the entire world for centuries. We live in the age of science and therefore naturally expect science to provide answers to all the crucial questions. Yet no satisfactory answers can be gleaned yet. It appears the problem lies in science itself, and social sciences methodology appears to be in need of revision and changes. The science as we know it today will not give us any answers. Let's turn to the great minds. Max Weber distinguished two types of rational action: instrumentally rational actions and value rational actions. I will try to explain what they are. Max Weber writes, examples of pure value rational orientation would be the actions of persons who, regardless of possible costs to themselves, act to put into practice their convictions of what seems to them to be required by duty, honor, the pursuit of beauty, a religious goal, personal loyalty, or the importance of some cause, no matter in what it consists. In our terminology, value rational action always involves commands or demands which, in the actor's opinion, are binding on him. Action is instrumentally rational, when the end, the means, and the secondary results are all rationally taken into account and weighed. From the latter point of view, value rationality is always irrational. I would like to say two things in connection with Weber's statement. First, when he speaks of value rationality, he still speaks about rationality. This is not action of a madman. Such actions will appear mad only to those people who are extremely experimentally rational and see everything as a way to gain and profit. Second, a person newly introduced to these ideas may well say they are banal, if not absurd, because each of us can name many people among our acquaintances who are motivated by value rationality, who are devoted to their duty, who follow religious precepts. In fiction, most characters act in value-rational manner. Without excessive modesty, we can also recall that we frequently act based on our inner values. Critical decisions in politics are almost always value-based. Both President Woodrow Wilson and Tsar Ivan the Terrible acted on the basis of their moral beliefs. Their policies were value rational.
Однако такая мирская, обывательская точка зрения.
Positive science, however, does not support such a lay, conventional point of view. Virtually all social sciences presume people to be rigidly rational. Economics is a vivid example here. One of its tenets is the criterion of maximizing certain usefulness, as if the consumers, for instance buyers in the store, and we try to maximize usefulness when buying something. This tradition goes back to Adam Smith in the 18th century and peaks in the 20th century, particularly in the late 20th century, in the shape of many mathematical models. This approach has at its core a totally rational economic person. Rationality is almost inevitably reduced to financial gain. This approach has been repeatedly criticized, yet it still underlies most university textbooks. What does continuous growth of capitalist economy rest on? Since the time of Joseph Schumpeter and his great book The Theory of Economic Development, economic spies are generally believed to be produced by innovations. Thousands of books have been written about innovations. Innovations are new commodities, new materials, new markets, new means of production, new ways of setting up production. In Russia, we have long been talking about innovations, yet real innovation-based economic theories still have not been developed, even though Schumpeter wrote his book The Theory of Economic Development over 100 years ago. Schumpeter identified a special type of the economic actor. It is not an owner, a stockholder, or a manager. It is an entrepreneur. True, most often the entrepreneur is also the official owner of a business, but it is the entrepreneur who is always seeking new combinations of production factors, is taking risks by introducing innovations, and is breaking down the status quo. What is important for us? Schumpeter claims that the concept of rational egoism, not to mention hedonistic egoism, fails to explain the entrepreneur's innovative behavior. Money and profits are but a side effect of the entrepreneur's efficient work. What are the entrepreneur's motives? According to Schumpeter, I quote, "First of all, there is the dream and the will to found a private kingdom. Then there is the will to conquer, the impulse to fight, to succeed for the sake, not of the fruits of success, but of success itself. Finally, there is the joy of creating. This is akin to a ubiquitous motive, but nowhere else does it stand out as an independent factor of behavior." Schumpeter claims that these motives have nothing to do with economic reasons. In Max Weber's terms, an entrepreneur, Schumpeter's entrepreneur, acts in a value-rational manner. These three motives are certainly rooted in value-rationality, not in instrumental rationality. Here's another similar example. Petrim Sorokin attempted to develop a theory of altruistic love. He gave a lecture, The Mysterious Energy of Love, where he wrote, and I quote, "In recent decades, science has opened several new fields to its exploration and use. The probing into the subatomic world and the harnessing of the atomic energy are about two examples of these ventures. Perhaps the latest realm to be explored is the mysterious domain of altruistic love. Though now in its infancy, its scientific study is likely to become the most important area of the future research." Alas, it's been 60 years, but these ideas have not yet come true, even though Petrim Sorokin advocated a purely scientific approach and operated with facts only. For instance, he collected data on the lifespan of people canonized by the Christian Church. The saints presumably possessed altruistic love. This is what made them saints. They loved people and people loved them. It turned out saints' lifespan was notably greater than the average lifespan in the respective period. That, of course, does not prove the existence of the unmatched energy of altruistic love, but this is nonetheless a fact, and there are many such facts, and they need to be conceptualized. These are facts that require a different sociology, a new sociology. This is what Peterim Sorokin called for. It was an attempt to break out of the routine social sciences have been mired in owing to their origins, development and certain political circumstances. In no way I am trying to say that this was a fruitless way, a false path. On the contrary, this path yielded tremendous academic achievements. But this path appears to have exhausted itself a while ago, and finding a new path will take extraordinary effort. And to relieve the tension of my rebukes directed at social sciences, I will give another small quote. It comes from the great samurai Yamamoto Tsunetomo. Here is my lesson from the heavy rain. On your way you meet a shower, you dislike to get wet, so you hurry along the streets, running under the eaves. Still you get wet all the same. Yet if you decide from the outset not to speed up, you will get wet, but you won't hurry. This is the way to act in similar circumstances. The instrumental rationality suggests running, but value rationality suggests abstaining from hurry. What have I engaged in this discourse on instrumental rationality and value rationality for? What do they have to do with the problem of the age-old crisis that is our subject? I submit to you that instrumental rationality will not allow us even to approach a solution to the problem. Secular positivist science will not be able to point us to a way out of the crisis. We need to break into a different space, into another space. This is a very serious matter. We are watching on as the Renaissance man's and the Enlightenment man's worldview collapses. We are watching the decline of the energy that has been propelling the Western world forward for centuries. This collapsing worldview certainly needs to be replaced with another humanistic worldview. Collapse needs to be contrasted with wholeness and activity, and education, science and scholarship should be the points for focusing the efforts to overcome this collapse. We need to bring back labor as a value, not as a burden, but it must be creative and productive labor. To inquire and to create, these are the centers around which all human pursuits more or less directly revolve. Clearly, the secular ideology of positivist science is insufficient to find a way out of the crisis and to transition to a new socio-cultural system. What is required is a larger space. What is required is an absolute. Peterim Sorokin wrote on this matter in The Crisis of Our Age, the Social and Cultural Outlook. The entire pageant of human history turns out to be nothing but incessant interplay of cosmic rays, sunspot, climatic and geographic changes, and biological forces, drives, instincts, conditioned, unconditioned, and preponderant reflexes, physio-economic complexes, and residues, forces in whose hands man is as but clay, and which stage all the historical events and create all the cultural values. Instead of being depicted as a child of God, a bearer of the highest values attainable in this empirical world, and hence sacred, man is reduced to a mere inorganic or organic complex, not essentially different from billions of similar complexes. With the degradation of truth, man is dragged down from his lofty pedestal as a seeker after truth as an absolute value to the level of an animal who tends, by means of various ideologies, rationalizations and derivations, to exalt his greed, his appetites and his egoism. This is a harsh assessment of social sciences, an assessment that probably no one can afford to propose today. But we have no other way, and humanity will have to look for a way out, or greed and egoism will destroy us.